Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy T for 365 Horror, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible. And in today's video, we are going to be previewing 10 brand new releases that you guys can watch and stream today. So let's get into it right now. Now we are going to get into the video, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, this video is best watched with a movie tracker. I like to use Letterboxd. It's just the easiest way to keep track of the movies that you've seen and want to see. And lastly, I just want to be completely transparent and let everybody know that this is just a preview. I've had a few people in the comments talk about why would you recommend these movies when you haven't seen them, but this isn't a recommendation video. This is just a new release preview series. It's just for the diehards like me who are like constantly looking for something new to watch and have seen everything. So why not keep track of all the movies coming out, and then you can choose amongst the ones that you like. Additionally, I just like to kind of throw in a little bit of my own review of these trailers just to kind of let you know about the movies that I'm looking forward to. Again, these aren't recommendations on what you should watch. So just sit back, relax, watch the video, and if you do see movies that seem to jump out at you, at least it's something you can keep track of. And the last little caveat I want to give, and this has to do with personal taste. Some people will be like, oh, these movies aren't good, and some people are like, these movies look good. Literally in the same comments, I think there was a movie called Somewhere Quiet, if I'm not mistaken, and literally one comment was like, this movie is terrible, and then the next comment was, this movie is really good. So the only reason why I say that is because try to keep a little bit of an open mind. Like, different people like different things. I actually had somebody in one of the last videos talk about how the fact that they like some of the lower budget movies that may not look so high powered because, again, people have put a lot of effort into these movies, and you know, you're kind of trying to take the good from it. People put a lot of work into this. It's a lot of creativity, a lot of effort. So I just don't want to disparage, and I want to cover all the movies, especially for people who do like some of the more lower budget efforts, or maybe some of the ones that don't look like they have quite as high of a budget. So again, if you find that this series is something where you're finding more movies than not that you just have zero interest in, well, then I guess maybe this series isn't for you. I do have other series. I've got my What You Should Watch series, which is another video series I'm trying to come out with once a week. And also I do my Every Movie I Watched in a Month series, which I do put scores to everything, and these are the movies I've actually watched. And lastly, I just want to talk about the fact that I did want to be a lot more transparent of the fact that this is a preview, not a recommendation, because maybe people are like, why did I watch that? I thought this guy was going to tell me good movies when I'm just previewing all the movies. I used to do a preview like of stuff upcoming, but I kind of stopped doing that because a lot of the times the movie release dates change, or they move, or, you know, like it didn't come out. And so I just wanted to be sure that the last time I rebooted this series, I just wanted to make sure that every movie that I did highlight, you literally could go watch right now. And that's how I wanted to release the videos. So these movies are going to be a week or two old, or 3, because I did have some monitor problems. So we have not had a new episode in this series for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So we are going to get back on track, and I am just going to still cover these movies, man. We can do 10 a week. Some weeks 10 don't even come out. So I'm sure we're going to catch up. If these are all movies you've seen because they are not the newest, please sit tight. I'm sure we will be up to date within an episode or two. And again, I would say stick around. You never know. We miss these movies all the time. I miss them. That's why I made myself a good database of like websites and resources to find them, and decided to share that with you guys. But anyways, enough rambling about that. Let's get into some brand new horror movies. Okay, so let's get right back into it. The first movie we're going to be covering this week is a horror thriller called Amelia's Children, and it's available on VOD Digital. Edward searches for biological family in Portugal. He finds a villa and reunites with his long-lost mother and twin, but their shared past holds a dark secret that will forever change its understanding of his identity and origins. It is directed by Gabriel Abrantes. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Amelia's Children, this looks like a decent horror thriller offering. I like the mystery of the main character's past that they built up in the trailer, as it did leave me with a couple of questions. Also, there's a couple of moments that look pretty creepy for sure, but nothing that kind of strikes me as being overly scary. The acting also seemed competent, and I didn't outright see any real subpar performances in this one. This is one that I'm going to be putting on my watch list.
This vision that haunts you, it just means you're part of this family.
And these people are weird.
We found a genetic anomaly. It's disconcerting.
She wants to take my boys away from me.
Next, we're going to take a look at a straight horror named Frogman, and it's available on VOD Digital. Three friends in search of the Loveland Frogman finds out that he is more than just a local legend. It is directed by Anthony Cousins. Okay, after watching the trailer for Frogman, this does look like a found footage film that could really go either way. Now, the cinematography wasn't my favorite, as it almost looks like it's going to be blurry and shaky, but unless it's stomach-turning shakiness, that doesn't immediately mean that the movie will be ruined. It really depends on the lead up and how much of the mundane character building they do and the payoff at the end of the movie. The in the dark shots look like we get some pretty decent night vision that could end up having like some creepy jump scare moments. And the montage at the end of the trailer makes this look like it could be something that's creepy and good. I love the found footage genre and I'm always looking for new good ones, so this is a movie I'm going to be putting on my watch list.
So Dallas, do you have anything to say about what you're really trying to accomplish here?
I want the world to know the truth.
Okay.
About Frogman.
All right, film in the woods.
What the fuck was that?
Next, we're going to look at another straight horror movie called Beware the Boogeyman, and it's available on VOD Digital. For her first day of orientation, Dr. Tristan McKenzie makes her way to the Silverdale Psychiatric Hospital for the criminally insane, where she learns of the strange series of cases from the similarly strange Dr. Moon. This movie is directed by Calvin Maury McCarthy, Tim Coyle, and Josh Dietrich. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Beware of the Boogeyman, this looks like a little bit more of a low-budget offering for sure. I wasn't thrilled about the acting, but a good insane asylum story can really hit properly if it's executed correctly. Hopefully we get some disturbing character archetypes in this movie, and it turns out to be something decent. Not exactly one for me, but one that might be good for the low-budget horror fans.
Very specific delusion that's shared by 5 of our residents. A very specific delusion.
The Boogeyman.
Next, we're going to look at another straight horror movie called T-Blockers, and it's available on VOD Digital. Ancient parasites rise from a small town, taking the most fearful and susceptible hosts. A young filmmaker finds herself as the only one who can sense the possessed resistance before the horror escapes and spreads. It is directed by Alice Mayo McKay. Okay, after watching the trailer for T-Blockers, I can tell that this is definitely going to be more of a polarizing movie. On the one hand, it looked really bloody and like it was going to really feature some gory and depraved acts. On the other hand, this one looks like it's dripping with politics and may turn some off in this 2024 political climate. It touts itself as a queer film, and you most definitely get lots of catchphrases about fascism and right-wing extremism. Personally, I like to just take myself out of kind of the politics of a film and really just try to get the message that the director was trying to convey. And on that note, it does look like it's a fairly good bloody slasher with some good disturbing and weird content in it. So despite where you sit on the fence about the kind of topics, this is going to be one that I will check out, and I'm going to put it on my watch list.
Dead men don't rape! Dead men
How many of them are there?
There's definitely more than us.
No harm in cracking some fascist skulls to see what's inside.
Next, we're going to look at a thriller horror called Nightshift, and it's available on VOD Digital.
Are you gonna show me to my room?
While working her first night shift at a remote hotel, a woman begins to suspect that the property is haunted. It is directed by Benjamin and Paul China. After watching the trailer for Nightshift, this looks like it could have some interesting characters and situations within it. It didn't come off initially as scary, but as the trailer progressed, I definitely saw something that could have a couple of creeps in it. The acting looked decent, and the hotel that the main character is working at looks sketchy and like the perfect setup for some super weird things to happen. Plus, if you've seen any of the BMO Bank commercials, all I have to say is, whose hot tub is this? Even though I do the accent horribly, it's interesting to see Lamorne Morris get some new and current work. This movie looked just interesting enough, so I'm gonna put it on my watch list.
It's Gwen, right?
Gwen Taylor.
Teddy Miles. It's my place. Look, I know it looks as if the damn Addams family used to live here. But trust me, this place is harmless. Huh! Really gotta get this thing fixed. Oh, boy. Now, we got 20 cabins, all are basically identical. If you take to the job, then maybe we can make it a regular thing.
That'd be great. What kind of security do you have here?
Security? Well, if you want, there's a fire axe next to the vending machine. Nobody's gonna mess with you if you're swinging that thing around, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to the night shift.
Next up, we're going to look at a straight horror movie called The Piper, and it's available on VOD Digital. When a composer is tasked with finishing her late mentor's concerto, she soon discovers that playing the music summons deadly consequences, leading her to uncover the disturbing origins of the melody and an evil that has awakened. It is directed by Erlinger Thoroddsen. After watching the trailer for The Piper, this looks like an interesting kind of classic folklore tale. I like the angle of like an evil concerto that either possesses you or makes you do weird things. And being a musician, I always like kind of these music horror tales. It looked like it had some pretty creepy scenes, and I enjoyed the brutality that we did see in the trailer. Some of it did look run-of-the-mill, but this looks like an interesting story, and one I will check out and put on my watch list.
You're gonna perform the concerto for children?
She didn't want it performed. That concerto was what she was trying to burn when she set herself on fire.
Trying to burn it?
Next, we're going to be taking a look at a fantasy horror movie called The Woods Are Real, and it's available on VOD Digital.
Two good people.
Joba and Quincy are a wealthy Brooklyn couple who value charity above all. But when a friend returns from a country pilgrimage to challenge their bleeding hearts, they accept an invitation that will change their lives forever. It is directed by Alex Lambert. After watching the trailer for The Woods Are Real, this definitely looks like a weird kind of cerebral horror movie. I'm interested to learn what it's kind of about, but I couldn't exactly ascertain whether I felt that this movie was going to be good or horrible from the trailer. I didn't mind the acting as it was pretty good. It's just some of the scenes look like it's really going to be a weird watch. The characters are weird and the interactions are weird, and I'm just not 100% on whether or not I think it's going to be in a good or bad way. I didn't see many scares come out of this one, but I am interested to kind of see what it's all about, so I'm going to put it on my watch list.
Anyway, I was in this cabin in the field, and I was alone, and I sat, and I walked, and I prayed.
Made everybody worry. You missed off a bunch of promises, but you feel good.
You asked me what I learned in the woods. That's something I learned.
Is this the dessert?
Next, we're going to look at another horror thriller movie called Subject 101, and it's available on VOD Digital. A homeless refugee looks for a fresh start at a European multinational temp agency, but they have very different plans for him. It is directed by Tom Biwilogua. After watching the trailer for Subject 101, this looks like a great movie if you're in the mood for a good mindfuck. In the description, they describe this movie as a profoundly disorienting experience, and that's something I for sure felt from the trailer. I feel like this movie is going to have some current societal narratives about work and other things, and will mix in a good mind control element that hopefully doesn't end up being too confusing. I don't think we're going to get a lot of creeps and scares out of this one, but hopefully it has a good mind control MK Ultra kind of story with some good twists and turns in it. Again, I want to warn you that from the trailer, this movie does look like the kind of movie that could fall into a confusing experience, but I'm going to put it on my watch list and give it a try.
You should apply here. It's our housing project.
Key.
It's designed for people in your situation. It's government funded and it's combined with our job services.
Next, we're going to look at another straight horror called Observer, and it's available on VOD Digital. A group of demons lay claim to a troubled youth, while a good-natured spirit fights to defend her. It is directed by Stefan Sander. Now, after watching the trailer for Observer, this one left me with a bunch of questions. I enjoyed the premise, but the way that it was presented, it didn't exactly just like jump out at me. Even the monologue delivery seemed a little bit hokey and subpar. We do see a bit of the demons in the trailer, but they just didn't look creepy to me. This one looks like another little bit of a lower budget offering for the people who do like to dig through those and find the hidden gems. After watching the trailer, I'm just not 100% sure that this is something I could get into, but I'm sure for the low budget fans, it's something for your watch list.
I will give you a lesson of very great importance. The devil is like a mad dog, but he is chained. His liberty is curtailed. He can only seize and devour his prey if they venture too near him. That is why his usual tactics are to make himself appear as a lamb. The soul does not realize this and draws nearer and nearer.
Lastly, on this catch-up week, we are going to look at one final movie, and it is a horror thriller called You'll Never Find Me, and it's available on Shudder.
Who are you hiding from?
Patrick, a strange and lonely resident, lives in a mobile home at the back of an isolated trailer park. After a violent storm, a mysterious young woman appears at his door seeking shelter from the elements. It is directed by Josiah Allen and Indiana Bell. In a sea of somewhat mediocre movies this week, I'm glad that we got to save what looks like the best one for last. After watching the trailer for this movie, it looks like it could be a good horror thriller film. I like the mystery that the trailer introduced, and throughout it, I couldn't exactly tell who the sinister character was going to be. I'm sure we're going to get some good revelations in this movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't get a bit of a twist ending. At first, the character who's trying to find shelter from the storm seems like the kind of weird, sinister one, but as the trailer progressed, I just wasn't sure who had more to hide. And I felt like maybe something in his past had something to do with this mysterious character visiting in the present. I'm intrigued about the story with this one and where it's going to end up, so I'll definitely check this one out and put it on my watch list.
What made you come here?
I don't know, I just ran. I'd really need a lift into town.
I'll take you there when the weather lets up.
Do you get lonely all the way out here? Hiding.
Hiding?
Or we'll just start running something.
You've never been here before? You have a familiar face.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for another episode of brand new horror releases for you guys to watch and stream. Again, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. If I had to pick 2 movies this week, I think the first one would be Frogman. I'm just always on the search for a good found footage film. Like I said, the way that they end, it really could be something that is creepy and scary, and the way the jumps come out in sometimes in a found footage, it's like there's no music buildup or anything, and there is a realism element to it, as long as like I said, the payoff ends up being good. So I am hoping for good things with that one. And the second movie I want to see this week is You'll Never Find Me. Again, that movie just has a really good kind of mysterious element to it. I'm already questioning the characters and who's going to be, like I said, the sinister one. It's just the type of movie I like, and it's the type of movie that has the revelations that really shock me, or can at least, you know, give me a good twist at the end. So those are the 2 movies that I'm looking forward to. But let me know in the comments, if any, the movies that you guys are looking forward to. In the meantime, I'm going to get out of here. I got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of movies to catch up on. So again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.